Hello, welcome back to BlenderSushi Live Nodding. In this episode, I'm gonna do like a little bit of improvisations based on Professor Akiyoshi Kitaoka artwork. There's this one in particular that's kind of interesting. And this artwork, if you look at it, the elements is actually looks more or less like a cylinder, except that you can see the front and the back part, actually the top and the bottom part of the cylinder. If you kind of try to make this in 3D, you probably need to do it in an orthographic kind of way, and that's one thing that we can replicate. It's I tried this in the past, and I'm gonna do it slightly differently. In fact, it's gonna be a little bit more interesting. We're gonna use Blender Modifier to do that, and also Sverchok. And I'm gonna close Chrome real quick. So I'm gonna save this empty scene as SV Akiyoshi Modifier. Well, the idea is really just to use Blender Modifier, but we're gonna do that together with Sverchok. And normally, if you're kind of trying to do this, let's say you have like a cylinder, right? And then, okay, you wanna rotate the cylinder. Maybe RX, rotate it 90 degree like that, and you kind of look at it from the top. Orthographic, you probably, okay, you need to rotate it again 90 degrees, and then you need to rotate it in Z axis, or actually in the, what is this, X axis, Y axis, Y axis. So this is what I was talking about just now. This element is like a cylinder, right? But it's because this is orthographic, you can kind of get that kind of element in the Professor Kitaoka artwork, just like the top and the bottom part. So we have this already happening, and the next thing you probably want to do is to use Array Modifier. And with Array Modifier, we can generate multiple of this guy, and then, okay, perhaps you want to kind of rotate it in the Z axis, or using like an empty, and you kind of, okay, you want to do the rotations in certain axis, but then you realize, okay, you need to apply transformation. Okay, maybe I'll apply the transformations in a location, rotation, and scale, and now we started to get kind of the design that we want. And perhaps we can do this, and we don't want offset there. We're gonna try to offset it using the empty. Where's the outline now? Okay, there you go. Just now I moved the cylinder by accident. We really just want to use the empty and kind of trying to get that kind of design. At some point you probably managed to do that using orthographic camera. This is actually one of such example. So this is kind of getting there. Okay, there you go. It's almost like the design, but if you look at it, so we have like the cylinder objects thing, but then we have totally like lost in 3D space, right? We don't, our empty is like totally random now, and our objects is I don't know, we already like apply transformations and rotation, etc. It's a little bit confusing. Okay, I want to keep that simple. Basically, I will use Sverchok and to generate the cylinder. That's first of all. And I'm going to output a B mesh right away. So we're gonna have a real cylinder in the scene. There you go. And I'm gonna kind of focus on the object. Where is that thing? Align view to select it. Okay. We are still working in the orthographic modes, and I'm gonna switch to the top view. And I'm gonna save this, and the next thing we want to do, perhaps we want to center the cylinder. We can do that by using vector drop, matrix in, and apply it. So now our cylinder is centered. The next thing we can do is to kind of align the cylinder properly. We don't want it to be in the aligned to the z-axis. We want it to be maybe in the x-axis. We can use rewire and z to x should do the job. Okay, now we look at it from the top view. Now we have the cylinder facing that in the x-axis, and we're getting there, but we want to rotate it slightly. If you're thinking, okay, let's apply matrix transformations and kind of rotate it in the z-axis using the angle of this value, we should start to get the result. Actually, z-axis apparently is wrong. We need to do it in the y-axis. Okay, this is the one that I want. You see how it rotates and then start to kind of resemble the Professor Akiyoshi, Professor Kitaoka artwork. So anyway, we have this element and we can work on it, and we can use the array modifier. Of course, just like before, we're gonna use the empty as well. Select this guy, and then let's do the array thing. There's one thing. Instead of using the matrix this way and kind of changing the objects in the 3D scene, you see the rotations 12.01. Instead of doing it that way, we want to kind of apply the transformations inside Sverchok, and for that we can use apply transformation. Actually, it's matrix apply. So just plug in the vector there and the matrix into there, and the result into there. So we have our cylinder with the transformation applied, and everything is still pretty clean. And you see here, because we are working on it procedurally, we can make changes to the cylinder, you know, like making it even like less resolution, changing the height, changing the radius, top and bottom. We have all those controls still happening. And yeah, so that's a good thing, because we can actually now with this guy we can make changes in the with array modifier, and we can control the cylinder, the original cylinder. And I guess it's like everything is very parametric, very procedural, and you're good. We can now maybe get rid of the offset. I'll try with the empty thing and rotate it with the object offset, and maybe we need to offset it in X. I don't know yet, but let's have like a couple of duplicates of the cylinder. Select the empty as offset, and now we have this. Pretty cool. Select the empty and then rotate, and then kind of moving the empty in the x-axis. We should start to get the design like the ones Professor is making. We don't need to exactly make that design actually. In fact, if we kind of try to play around with this, you can see that we can end up with something totally and completely different. See, like this kind of design, you can still control the top and the bottom. rotations, while you can move the empty and create a different design. So this is kind of like a something I call the semi-procedural kind of design. View orthographic. We can rotate our empty, whatever we like it. Just keep it simple. I'm rotating it just in the z-axis. You can see from the value changing here. I can actually scale it down and then generates more instances. So suddenly we have something that's a little bit like a fractal, of course. With this guy already being created, we can have another array, you know, like the usual Blender thing. Have another empty and do another rotation here. Get rid of the offset. Select the second empty and rotate it. Perhaps make a couple. And then it's kind of moving it in one axis. Oops, move the empty. So we have this design, rather complex, but we still have control over the elements of this fractal design because we have it generated using Sverchok. Okay, so that's the main idea basically. We don't need to make everything inside Sverchok. We can kind of work half like a semi-procedurally, which is really cool, I think. View, top. So maybe we overcomplicate the thing and go back to where we have before. So this is kind of nice. That's kind of starting to generate a visual illusion. It's as if we are kind of traveling in and out, even though it's pretty much static. So I think that's quite a nice effect. Okay, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. Or maybe this is accidental, I don't know. But like I said, you can continue on and make whatever design. You can actually go inside here and change the rotations and everything will update accordingly. Just now I think I made a mistake with this. We should modify the empty, not the actual objects matrix. So set this view from top view, scale it down or scale it up, and move this, scale it up. This actually looks really nice from orthographic camera. View, top view. Move this out a little bit. Scale it. Top view. See, this is even that, you know, this is pretty accidental kind of design once again. You can, if you want, you can animate these objects. Maybe rotate it in a different axis as well. So I'm doing this twice in different axes, maybe Z and kind of do this. Matrix in. Actually, this is supposed to be, the second one should be matrix deform. So that's Okay, so this is what I was trying to do. This is also kind of like a visual illusion, and I might actually render that out at some point. For now, I'm just gonna save this, and I'll give you this node 3 for the Sverchok, but for this one, for the modifier, you need to make it yourself. Okay, there you go. That's the visual illusions that we generate really quickly. If you actually made it in a way that we can see the top and the bottom of the cylinder, your eyes started to get some kind of weird things happening. Your eyes or your brain kind of get tricked to see this as a like a moving animated zooming in and zooming out, even though this is really just a rotating cylinder as an array. Okay, so yep, that's pretty much it for this live noding. Hopefully this is fun, something that you can try yourself, and try using other than cylinder. You can use like a torus, you can use I don't know, just any kind of objects. Maybe if I just give it an example, torus. We actually have a torus now, which is nice. Our modifier will still kind of work with the whole thing. So that's the torus. You know, you can do rotations of the torus. You can animate the torus, whatever you like, but you get a completely different design. Okay, so yeah, so that's the idea. Imagine we simplify the whole thing. We make the thing to go like a being rendered orthographically in 3D. You can of course render it out as 3D like so, like that, but you get like a different kind of effects. But I like the simplicity of orthographic view. Sometimes you just want to do that depending on what you're doing. So yep, that's pretty much it. Thanks again for tuning in. Any feedbacks, comments, just let me know, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.